morning. It's day number 4, almost 9 o'clock. Time's kind of getting away from me. I'm going to take a 10 o'clock ferry, hopefully, off of the island and start heading north. Try to work my way around to Nova Scotia. It sounded like it was raining all last night, but it was just this heavy fog that had come in and put water down on the trees, and the trees were dripping on me. So it really was not raining, but pretty damp this morning. My tent was soaked, although it was dry on the inside. I'm gonna head down to a lighthouse before I leave here. I think I should have enough time to be able to do that and still get to the ferry dock on time. The ferry runs every hour on the hour, leaving Campobello. Tide is out. There's a fee for visiting a lighthouse, and on a nice day I'd probably go out there and take a look at it, but this kind of weather, I don't think so. I'm just gonna head back to the town. Deer Island. Going down a little bit slick, but hopefully okay. That is Indian Island, and over here to the left is Deer Island. So I got to ride to the north of Deer Island and pick up another ferry, which I believe is free. This one cost me $15 for a motorcycle, and then I'll go back on the mainland for New Brunswick, where I can start riding north again. Passed a sign for a restaurant for the 45th parallel seafood. Here's the sign. 45th parallel scallops and fries. That's at the 45th parallel south latitude. Back in December, here I am. It looks like 45th parallel north latitude. Very cool. Heading to St. George. 772. It's kind of chilly out this morning. 53 degrees Fahrenheit. It's 50 when I started. It's almost 11 o'clock. Just in time. Packed in like sardines in a can. We have arrived. Rather steep grade. At least it's dry. Canada Route 1, headed towards St. John, where I'm going to stop and check the weather report, figure out exactly where I'm going this afternoon. This morning it said it was supposed to start raining around 3, so I feel like I'm in a little bit of a race against the rain. St. John. The ferry from Nova Scotia back to Digby is right here. That's one option I have coming back from Nova Scotia. The other is to go all the way to the southern end, which I may do, so that I will have completely circumnavigated Bay of Fundy, and that takes me down to the United States. I came off of Highway 1. I'm now on Highway 100. This highway is full of road patches, one after another. Not a very comfortable ride. Well, wasn't expecting to run into this. Smith Creek number 1, Trenton, 1927. Covered bridge. My first Canadian covered bridge. Look at the patches on this road. It's patches on top of patches, on top of holes. It's been this way a fair amount. As I head my way north, I'm on Roachville Road right now. But it just, look at this. You would think at some point they would say, maybe we've got enough patches on that road, maybe we should replace it. I haven't passed through a town, I think, in the last half hour. I'd really like to get off the bike and stretch for a bit, but other than just pulling to the side of the road and getting off, there hasn't really been a place to pull over and do it. Highway 106. Moncton. About 50 kilometers to go. Welcome to Sackville, established 1762. Somewhere in here is where my motel is for the night. Just picked up groceries and heading back to my motel room, and it is spitting rain. Perfect timing. It's still supposed to be showery for the next several days, but not like tonight, where there's supposed to be constant rain. Welcome to day number 5. Today is going to be all devoted to Nova Scotia. I entered Nova Scotia a few minutes ago. Rain last night and this morning, but down here it's actually a little drier. The roads are almost dry, and skies don't look too bad. The winds are supposed to be fairly strong today. They're strong right now, but they're supposed to get even worse this afternoon. Gusts up to, I think, 30 miles an hour. So we'll see how that goes. In terms of camping this afternoon or this evening, I'll have to try to find it somewhere that's protected. Don't really have a itinerary today other than just kind of hug the coast here on the west side of Nova Scotia. There is a fossil area on the shore. There's actually a museum that I don't know opens until 10, I think, but there's still access, since it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, access to the beach where the fossils are. So I maybe walk down there just to see if I see anything. And that's my first stop. So that's 26 kilometers away, a little over 20 minutes. Heading west on Route 242. This is going to take me to the Joggins Fossil Cliffs. I think the tide is out, or it's going out right now, based on what I've seen. So there should be access to the beach. Tides are so, for those who aren't familiar with Nova Scotia and the Bay of Fundy, the tides are huge here. And so it's possible when the tide's out to basically walk on the bottom of the bay. And these cliffs need to be visited when the tide is out. You can't visit them when the tide is in. United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization listed in 2008 World Heritage Site. A few people here. It's funny how it's foggy even though it's windy out. Alright. Park the bike and take a little bit of a walk. Pretty breezy out, but I'll take that sun any day. So I'm just gonna head down the west coast here. I think there's a lighthouse ahead. I'm not sure exactly where it is, but I presume they'll have a sign up for it. I am on Glosscap Trail. When I was walking along the beach, I came across a couple of stones that looked like they had fossils in them. So I took pictures of them and brought them back to the museum and showed them to the staff, and they did indeed confirm that both pictures were of calamite, which is a now extinct plant from the coal age. So that was kind of cool. Very pretty riding here, Nova Scotia. So I'm waiting to go past this work stop. No wind here, and the bugs are just swarming. I don't know if you can see that or not. I got my shield down, but they're like crazy. I was thinking I needed to find a camp tonight that had some protection from the wind, but maybe not. Mostly covered up, but the back of my neck. Oh, of course, it's a mud road. Lucky me. I asked the flagman whether this road was going to continue to be gravel except for the next 2 kilometers, and then it turns back to the main road. So we'll just keep it going. This is actually a little peninsula that I'm on, so I'm going to go south and then swing to the east and head north on the other side of the peninsula. So far there hasn't been really anything to see here. I didn't realize I was entering the peninsula when I headed south. It's a pleasant ride. There's very little traffic here, so I got to be a little careful. I don't want to go down. Might be a while before somebody drove by and saw me. But the benefit is I have 2 lanes in order to pick my line. This road brings back memories of the Dalton Highway up in Alaska. Other than the fact that on the Dalton Highway you had large vistas, here not so much. It's kind of covered by trees. Well, it seems like I've gone a couple kilometers, so I'm hoping that guy was right. Alright, I'm back on pavement, but another fellow I just stopped and talked to said that while the pavement continues, the road is in really bad shape. So apparently they just paved this section last year, but the section I'm coming up to they have not repaved. So he said it's really bad shape. So got myself down into a hole here. So this must be the section he's referring to. I'm just gonna have to pay attention here because there are potholes everywhere. But it should be manageable like that. Keep in control. Look at the sky. What a gorgeous day it's turning into. I had to take my helmet off because some of those bugs had made their way up on the top of my head inside my helmet. Get those out of here. Well, riding in New Brunswick yesterday got me prepared for this road. This is actually pretty good right here. There's about 6 kilometers where there are big potholes and definitely needed to be repaved. This is pretty easy. But this area, it's remote. There's like nothing down here. No houses, no commercial, just this road. As far as I can tell. Now maybe it'll change when I get to the other side of the peninsula, but I think there's a park of some sort that's down here based on looking at the GPS map. So we'll just continue riding it out. I'm glad I have a full or mostly full tank of fuel from yesterday evening, so I should be all right to extract myself from this misdirection, I'll call it. Thanks. Oh, little bridge. Beautiful little stream underneath it. Well, here's a house or something. I've passed literally 2 or 3 cars for the last half hour. Alright, little village of some sort. How pretty is that? It's funny how when sometimes you go astray from your intended path, you end up in places that are totally unexpected and absolutely wonderful. That's my experience with traveling. Bay of Fundy has, I think, the highest tides in the world. Look how far out that stretches. Can't even see the water from here. This is Advocate Harbor. Finally turning and should be going north here. How iconic is that? Fishing boats sitting on their bottoms waiting for the water to come in. That's just cool. And northeast. This has turned into a great riding road. Very little traffic. Elevation changes, curves, trees. Beautiful blue sky. For the most part, it's kind of weird. The weather, every once in a while there'll be a huge bank of clouds that'll move in and look like it's going to rain, and then 10 minutes later it's like this. There's like nothing in the sky. So I'm not sure what's going on with the weather, but for the most part it's like this. Highway 2, Goose Cap Trail. I was on that earlier today. Took a detour. There's 5 islands parked back here. And I'm going to take a look at. Look at that wind blow. What's it coming out of the south, I think. Five Islands Lighthouse Park. What a nice park. Pretty view. Wind is just screaming through. So I made a reservation at Smiley's Provincial Park, which is a couple hours away. Stop on the grocery store on the way there. These Anarchy Adventure tires are absolutely great tires. Can't say enough for them. I love the wear. I love the grip. They're good on both stuff like this and paved surfaces. Just had really good experience with the 2 sets that I've used on this bike. 17 kilometers to go, filled up with fuel, and I broke 1,000 miles on this trip. 1,010.9 miles. Day number 5. Another beautiful day. Temperatures were just perfect, and the humidity is low too. Nova Scotia certainly has varied landscape between the sea and the farms, the forests. Beautiful place. Smiley's Nova Scotia Parks. Well, it's Friday night. End of day 5.